Hey y'all, it's your friendly neighborhood therapist, and I just want to have a moment of transparency here for a minute because I talk about a lot of things on my page. I bring news to y'all and mental health topics to y'all, spiritual topics, religious topics, all sorts of things, and that's fine. But I want to turn a mirror real quick because it's easy to call out everybody else and everything else. It's much harder to turn a mirror on yourself. And I'm saying that because I want y'all to recognize that the field that I chose to work in also has a history of all the negative things that I speak out against, and they're still present. I work in a system that actively works to oppress and discriminate people groups of color. I do. Now, I get up here and I say I'm trying to dismantle that and deconstruct that and do all this, but I'm just one person. And I know a lot of my colleagues are doing the same, but don't think that we don't recognize the system that we work in. The system that we work in that works against black and brown folks and indigenous folks. Oh, we do. So, yes, I participate in a system that actively has harmed people who look like me. I absolutely do. Most of us do in some way, but I don't want y'all to think that I don't recognize that. I do. I absolutely do. And that's why I also speak on so many other things that I speak on because so many people will say, you shouldn't talk about that when you work in this field because that'll make certain people feel like you don't want to work with them or you don't like them. That's not my problem. How you take me educating and telling certain truths, historical truths at that, that's not my problem. That's something you got to process because I do not have a problem with anyone. And if you personalize things that I say to the extent of thinking that I wouldn't want to work with certain people, that's a you thing. That's not a me thing. Not at all. Because I'm willing to work with anyone who's willing to do the work. And I'm saying all that because it's come up a lot recently, and I've said it in the past. Therapy is political. Political things are very personal. We have political trauma occurring right now. This impacts people's mental health. There's no way to escape it. So I don't understand the therapists that continue to say we're not going to talk about politics or I try to avoid it. If that's what your client want to talk about, that's what you talk about. I don't understand the people who still seem to not believe that you can't be MAGA and a therapist or a social worker or a nurse or anything that has to do with helping people specifically and helping anyone, no matter their beliefs, culture, race, ethnicity, all those things. I don't understand that. And it's funny because another thing that I constantly see is a lot of things that us black and brown people who work in these fields get on here and say don't seem to get traction until a white colleague says it. I watched a video the other day of a white therapist that I follow. I really, really like him too. And his whole post was about therapists cannot be MAGA. I have said that multiple times a while ago. Got dragged for it all the times I said it. Stand by it. But the traction that that got, I'm at a place where I'm like, everything is showing the discrepancy in how people think and perceive things and their worldview and how they feel about things. And I'm just like, wow, it shows consistently that all lives don't matter, all perspectives don't matter. Something coming out of my mouth versus coming out of a white man's mouth, same thing. Two different reactions and responses. I recently had a white associate ask me, what can we do? Especially those of us who are not, in Minneapolis or in a place where they're protesting actively, so we can't get out in the streets there. What can we do? And I told that person, educate yourself, unpack your own biases, and make sure you are calling out all of those in your circles, whether immediate circles or not. When things come up, when conversations get had, make sure you're calling them out and teaching your own, but also actively give to those. And I mean tangibly, because she specifically said tangibly, what can I do for people? Give money to those who teach, who are out there doing the work, the groups who are putting together protests, the educators, the advocators, the people you see putting the work in. Give. That, we live in a world where the dollar talks more than your mouth does. So give. Why not? Why not? That's the way. In fact, me and her came to the conclusion that all the things that are happening now are also about money. You stop the money, things change. Think about the Montgomery bus boycott. The bus companies lost so much money in that 380 something days. They lost so much money that finally they said, just let the Negroes sit where they want to sit. Because it damn sure wasn't a change of heart, it was a change of pockets. It was a change of pockets. So the loudest way to speak is with your dollar. You wonder what you can do to help from where you are. Give your dollar to those who are doing the work in some capacity, whether it's protesters, whether it's groups that are community advocates, whether it is educators here on social media, whatever it looks like. That's how you help from where you are. All right? Y'all have a beautiful, wonderful rest of y'all evening, and I will holler at y'all later.